You're probably building your marketing backwards. Hear me out. The marketing teams that are going to dominate over the next 5 years, in my opinion, are not going to be the ones with the biggest budgets or the ones with the most people in their Slack. They're going to be the ones who optimize for outcomes with speed, with precision, and almost no overhead. And I think the part that most people aren't ready to admit to is that in 2021, everyone was hiring VAs. In 2023, they were documenting SOPs. And in 2025, they were asking ChatGPT to write their emails. But in 2026, the smartest businesses are not the ones that are starting with tasks. They're the ones that are starting with outcomes and assigning those outcomes to intelligent systems that can run end-to-end 24/7, 365. This video is not about me. It's about a client that we work with. Actually, it could be about multiple clients that we work with. But this specific client that I have in mind has a coaching and consulting business. They run webinars and then they sell through trust, through content and conversation. And like most coaches, their marketing looked something like this. Their content was scattered across platforms. Their ads felt disconnected from their brand voice if they had any. Their leads were coming in, but follow-ups were falling through. They had too many tools and too many handoffs. And although nothing was technically broken, nothing was compounding either, let's be honest. So instead of hiring more people, we started our collaboration by asking her one simple question. What are the 3 outcomes, specifically from a marketing perspective, that actually need to be delivered? Not the tasks or the roles, the outcomes. And then we built 3 AI agents, all orchestrated with NA10 to deliver those outcomes. And I want to show you all 3 of these workflows because I think they could be inspiring you as well. But before I show you the agents, you need to understand one thing. Marketing does not fail because of creativity. It fails because of fragmentation, okay? Strategy lives in one place, content in another, ads somewhere else, leads in an inbox that nobody checks. And the real problem are the gaps in between these steps. AI agents are not there to replace the marketers. They're there to replace the gaps, or to fill in the gaps, better said. Okay, so first and foremost, the first agent that we worked on, we call it the content flywheel. And that's where we always start. Not with ads, not with funnels, with authority and with signal. Okay, this agent is probably the one that we have implemented the most. And its job is not to post more content. Its job is to establish a consistent voice. It is to test ideas in public and to surface what actually resonates. And here's how it worked, or it works for this specific client. They have ideas. They already had loads of them. And obviously they have their expertise. But everything lived either in the coach's head, in their courses or webinar notes, in their book, or in the long form content that didn't travel too far, in the podcast, I mean. I want to show you how this actually runs in the real world step by step, because this is not a press a button and the magic happens. It's a human in the loop kind of system designed to build leverage, okay? So this is the weekly rhythm that the client goes through. Step number 1, direction has to come from a human, okay? So once a week, the client sits down for 20 to 30 minutes, but they don't have the pressure to be creative. They either drop rough ideas into it. They can just name the idea or paste voice notes or simply ask the agent, what should we talk about this week based on what's resonating or what's trending? And then the agent does the heavy lifting because it can scan past content performance, it can scan the audience questions, it tracks trends in the niche, and it proposes content angles that are worth publishing. It's not about coming up with more ideas, it's about ideas that are tied to business goals, okay? Then step number 2 is about researching before creation, okay? Before anything gets written, the agent runs research. It can also skip this if you have all the information, but most of the time, this is a step that happens. And I think it's an important one, to be honest, because without the proper research, content could feel empty. So the agent pulls competitive examples, extracts frameworks that already work, or references. It checks objections and beliefs from the audience. It aligns everything to the client's brand voice. So we're not creating content to stay consistent, we're creating content that earns attention. And then step number 3 is the human in the loop. The human stays in control. And then basically what happens is that the client chooses what gets published, when it gets published, and where it goes. There is no automation for the sake of it. There is automation with intent. And that's important because the strategy still belongs to the human, right? Their decisions need to be observed and kept, in the loop. So once the human has made the decisions, now the flywheel kicks in. Because once the topics are approved and the dates for posting are agreed upon, the agent is able to write the copy using proven copywriting frameworks, is able to adapt the tone to the client's voice, is able to generate visuals that match the format and the platform and the style of the client. And all of that gets delivered to the client, in this case in Slack. It can be via email or WhatsApp or Telegram as well. But it's done in a very simple, organized, clear to review way. Now, the client in step 5 is able to approve, is able to request changes, is able to upload their own pictures or send feedback in plain language. They don't have to rewrite anything. There's not a lot of back and forth, but there is an opportunity to make sure that the content that goes out is aligned with what the client actually wants or their marketing department actually wants. Now, once approved, the agent schedules and publishes everything automatically. So there's no need for VAs or for teams to press upload buttons. So one idea turns into authority, into visibility, and into messaging that compounds over time. So if you think about it, the content flywheel agent took their long form inputs, the book notes, the call notes, anything else, extracted the core ideas, repurposed them into short posts for multiple platforms or blogs or even newsletters, and then posted consistently across platforms. And most importantly, it tracked which ideas got traction, which messages got replies or saves or comments, attention in general. So basically, the agent doesn't guess, it listens. And over time, it answers the most important question in marketing, which is, what does my audience actually respond to? Because that's what you need. That's the signal that informs future decisions, basically. Now, next is a second agent, and I call this one the amplification engine, because once you have the signal, you need to move to the next step, okay? And this is very important one in this client's business, but in general for many businesses. This agent does not invent messaging, it does not brainstorm, and it does not create ideas from scratch. It takes what actually already works from the flywheel and pushes it further into the market to amplify, okay? So for this client, the amplification engine turns proven content angles into Facebook ad creatives. It generates video variations, images, captions, it tests messaging at scale, and it feeds performance data back into the system. So here's how it runs basically. Step number 1, competitive research. And this is done automatically because before a single ad is written, the agent needs to scan the landscape, and it looks at what competitors are running on Facebook, which angles they repeat, what hooks or visuals or claims show up again and again, because obviously repetition in ads is a very important signal. If someone is spending money to run the same message for weeks, it means it's working. So this agent collects that signal for us. Then step number 2, the signal is selected and modeled at best, okay? It cross-references this data with what we already know from the flywheel. We're not talking about copying any competitors. Basically, what you're doing is to ask which proven angle overlaps with what already resonates with this audience. That's the difference between noise and strategy. You're doing things with intention, okay? Step number 3, creative production at scale. So this is where the agent goes to town. It generates ad copy variations, headline and hook options, images and short videos, multiple creative angles for testing, and everything is obviously aligned to the client's voice and the offer and the platform's format. And this would probably take, a copywriter, a designer, a video editor, and several rounds of coordination. In this case, it's the system. And here's something interesting that we see all the time when running ads. AI is incredible at generating copy and angles and even videos, but some of the best performing ads are still the ones that feel real and wholesome. Real moments, real environments, real human energy. And that's why we use Storyblocks, because it gives us unlimited downloads of high quality stock video, images, music, and sound effects, all for one predictable subscription cost. Everything lives in one place, and because it's 100% human-made content created by actual real artists around the world, the footage does not feel artificial or overproduced. And that matters when you're trying to build trust at scale. And what I also love is the Storyblocks AI toolkit, because it works with their library, helping us quickly adapt clips, refine edits, or add voiceovers without having to replace the creative vision. It's basically like having a lightweight post-production team that is built right into your browser. And because everything you download is royalty-free and fully licensed, we can test, experiment, and iterate on ads fast without having to worry about legal issues later. To get started with unlimited stock media downloads at one set price, head over to storyblocks.com/AI founders or click the link in the description below. Thank you so much, Storyblocks, for always supporting us. And now back to the video. Then there is a campaign proposal. This time we chose not to go directly for execution. Before anything goes live, the agent proposes the campaign structure, the ad set logic, targeting assumptions, budget ranges, and this is really, really critical. But the agent does not touch the ad account unless you want it to. And in the beginning, I would not necessarily recommend. In this case, the client's team does the final setup and the agent prepares the battlefield, so to speak. But humans are still the ones pulling the trigger. And this is why paid traffic is so interesting, because it's not a growth hack, it's a truth machine. So when you put money behind a message, the market stops being polite and it tells you exactly what resonates and what didn't. And now marketing is no longer based on opinions, it is based on feedback. You can tell it through the data. So once you have both of the channels, the organic and the paid, it's time for agent number 3, which is the opportunity hunter. This one comes last for a reason, okay? It does not create demand. It does not amplify demand. What it does is it converts what the first two generate. So in this specific case, for the client that I'm referring to, what essentially happens is that this agent looks at webinar signups, at warm leads, at people who already raised their hand. Before this agent, follow-up looked something like this. The marketing team or the owner would say, oh, I'll just reply later. Or emails or DMs would be missed, or forgotten messages or voice notes, and leads would go cold. But it's not because the entrepreneur doesn't care, it's because the system lived in the owner's head. So that's why we have the opportunity hunter. And this agent reads incoming emails and DMs, transcribes voice notes, understands content, proposes replies in the tone of voice of the brand, schedules follow-ups, escalates to real humans when that's necessary. So I want to explain to you how it works. Basically, step number 1, the agent watches the lead database. Every lead flows into that single place. Whether someone, I don't know, signs up for a webinar or attends live or downloads a lead magnet or opts in through content, the opportunity hunter tracks the entire lead database. And it's not just about the email and the name, it's about the whole context. Where they came from, what they engaged with, what problem they raised their hand for, because this is critical. Relevance starts with memory. Step number 2, there is a personalized follow-up. Okay, so there's no broadcasting. As soon as this new lead enters the system, the agent is able to take over, and it sends emails that are personalized to the entry point, aligned with what the person actually asked for, and written in the voice of the coach. These are personalized emails, right? It's not a generic funnel. It's not a sequence. It's actual conversations. And the key part is that the agent can adapt. Not only can it write in many languages, but it adapts based on replies, based on questions, based on the tone or the hesitation or the engagement level. And it doesn't just send messages. It listens and then it responds, which a regular MailChimp automation wouldn't be able to do or wouldn't have been able to do some time ago. Now, step number 3 is about qualification. And this happens silently because, you know, most sales systems tend to fail here because they either push too hard or they wait too long or don't push enough. The opportunity hunter does neither. Basically, as the conversation unfolds, it gauges intent and it identifies readiness and it filters out the low fit leads. And only when someone clearly signals interest does it move to the next step, because this protects the coach's time. Obviously, you would probably not want to have 100 calls and know that only 2 of those would have potential to convert. So basically, step number 4, which is calls, only happens when it makes sense, right? At this point, the agent has 2 options. Option number 1, it schedules a call directly into the coach's calendar. and that's it, right? But there's also option 2. The agent can run a pre-screening call, and that's what we're working to implement right now for this client, which is a short, structured conversation that confirms the fit, clarifies the goals, and answers common questions. And then the qualified leads are the ones that reach the coach, which essentially means that when the coach gets the call, it's no longer a discovery call. It's a very warm lead that is very likely to convert. Now, there's a sequence, right? And maybe you've already gauged that. The flywheel is the one that builds authority and discovers what resonates. The amplification engine is the one that takes the signal and expands the reach. And then the opportunity hunter is the one that converts what the first two generated. Each agent has a clear role and a clear boundary and a clear outcome. Obviously, they're all built on NA10 as the orchestration layer that connects all of them, because that's what we use in our agency. This client didn't replace a marketing team, so to speak. They replaced the fragmentation that they had in their marketing flows with intelligent workflows. They stopped hiring for execution and they started mapping outcomes and then assigning those to the workflows. And the result is fewer tools, a lot less mess, and a lot more leverage, but the same human creativity with more consistency. Look, most businesses don't struggle with marketing because AI isn't ready or because their case is too special. They struggle because they try to automate tasks before designing the system behind it. AI does not create leverage by doing more. It creates leverage only and only if you remove the handoffs, you compress the feedback, and you let humans focus on judgment. That's it. As I said, this is not about replacing people. This is about protecting human energy and scaling intelligence where it matters. If this sparked something for you, hopefully it did, if you're ready to stop watching AI videos and actually build systems like this, I would love to invite you in our community. It is completely free. We run challenges inside the community. We have bi-weekly calls where we help you design and deploy your first agent or start a business with AI step by step. You don't have to have any coding experience. We show to you everything step by step in the challenges, and you can come in and ask any questions, and there's thousands and thousands of other people on the exact same path as you are, so you will feel at home, hopefully, and I really hope to see you on the other side in our next Hive call. In the meantime, like this video if you did, be sure to subscribe if you haven't done so, share it with anyone in your circle of friends or family or coworkers or your marketing department if this sparked any inspiration. And until next time, thank you again for watching. I'm so forever grateful that you take the time to support us in this channel, and I'm genuinely grateful for your time and for your help and your support. And until next time, I suggest you go ahead and watch this video over here. I'll see you soon. Bye.